Hey guys. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to breed superworms. Dealing with beetles, the superworms themselves. I'll show you some larvae that we have and get all up in the goods. All right, so I started out, I had bearded dragons. I have since gotten rid of my bearded dragons, although I will probably get back into them later on. I now have sugar gliders, which are amazing. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so as you can see, you see some beetles, you see some worms. I just have a bunch of cardboard, carrots everywhere. Carrots will give them moisture and food, as well as their substrate is oats. Some are grinded up, some are not. So you want to make sure that they have enough moisture, or else they will go through and they will eat their eggs, and then you will not be able to produce that many. So as you can see, there are tons of little baby carrots in here all over the place. And I also do not take out any food that I have given them, because they will lay their eggs in it. Also, the baby worms will get up in there and you'll just be throwing away your babies and your eggs. So I have a whole ton of beetles, although you can only see some. We will get up in here and there's a worm right there. And those guys, they're pretty full grown for the most part, some of them. Now, I keep my worms and my beetles pretty much in the same area. A lot of people do not. A lot of people separate, which there is no problem whatsoever separating them. It might turn into bigger numbers for you, but I only have 4 sugar gliders. So at the time being, I'm not really hurting for worms. So get up in here and there is a whole ton of beetles. As you can see, I probably have about 300 would be my guess. They're everywhere. So we could dig more and dig more and dig more, and we'll find more and more and more. And that little brown guy right there, as you can see him, he's right there. He's on the newer side. They only are completely black. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. They're only completely black after a few days of them turning into beetles. So he was probably put in there 2 days ago. Alright, so we can come over here and see if we can find some more little guys. So as you can see on here, they've been eating the carrots. And carrots, they tend to do better to me than potatoes do. Potatoes, if you're not really careful, then they can actually bring in mold. And nobody wants mold. So if you see right there, I got a little guy. He's not super tiny, as you will notice as you're breeding. There's a few little guys in there. You will notice as you're breeding that they're really tiny when they hatch. And more than likely, if you have a big container like this and you've got all kinds of, you know, food and beetles in it and bigger worms and stuff, you're not going to really be able to find the tiny guys per se, your new hatchlings. So don't get frustrated. Don't worry. In about 3 weeks or so, you know, when you're starting out, you'll be able to see them eventually. But trust me, they're there. When I started out, I had 50 beetles, and I was constantly, every day, looking for worms. Every day. And I was so frustrated because week after week, I didn't see anything. Nothing at all. But as I got to about the 4 week mark, I noticed that there was actually quite a few hundred in there. And when they all grew up, which took about 4 months, would be my guess, maybe 5, I had about 1,500 worms. So trust me. They're there. Don't get frustrated and throw your stuff out because you just be starting all over or giving up on something that, trust me, it's super easy to do. A lot of people say that they have difficulty, and I think that a lot of people just aren't waiting to see how they have produced, you know, so many worms, because they got so frustrated and didn't believe anything was happening. But guys, trust me, it's happening. And eggs, guys, you really, there's been a few, you know, that I've seen and everything. Now, I've been doing this probably about 8 months, but you're not really going to see them. They hide them well, and every once in a blue moon, you might see some. But trust me, these guys breed like crazy. I can walk in my worm room at any given time. As a matter of fact, if you see these guys right here, they're breeding. Okay, I can walk in here at any given point in time, and there's normally like 6 or 7 pairs breeding in one little like 5 seconds of me walking in here and looking at them. Okay, so let's move on to the pupae and all that. Okay, so you see that worm right there? He is curled up. He is going to start mutating into what you see here. This is the pupae, guys. Okay? And so it takes about 2 weeks or so for them to turn into these guys, depending on if they're right size or not. Obviously, he's kind of small, so it's taking a little bit longer for him. The bigger the worm, the better, if you're trying to mutate already. Obviously, because sometimes they're just not ready, you know, and it takes a little bit longer. Now, these guys right here, they'll probably turn into beetles, and that guy right there, actually, he'll probably turn into a beetle tomorrow or overnight. And this guy right here, he is a freshly, not super, super new beetle, because a lot of times they're white when you first catch them, and he's starting to turn a little bit darker. Now, you see that I have them in this container right here. This is the best thing that you could get, okay? These little single compartments, you know, jewelry containers, bead containers, tackle box containers, whatever you'd like to call them. They're awesome. And as you see here, I have a different one. It's got a little bit more compartments. They're like $4. Okay, this one right here, it's got 17 compartments. It was like $2. All right, so what you do is you would just want to take them and you want to put each worm into a single container, you know, as many as you want, blah, 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 just one per little square. And you stick them in a dark, dry place You know, you don't want them somewhere where you're going to constantly be messing with them and stuff like that, where they constantly get sunlight or light in, because the darker it is, the quicker they go. But give it about 2 weeks and you'll have these guys. And then about 7 more days or so and you'll have beetles. And then you just take the beetles, put them in your box, and they do their business. Pretty quick, you know. Now it does take 3 or 4 to 7 days for the eggs to hatch. You will not see the babies, so no need in going to look. Don't throw your cardboard away, guys. They lay their eggs on it. They lay their eggs in the substrate, so be careful digging in the substrate. You could be puncturing the eggs, ruining them. These guys right here breeding. But that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, it's pretty simple. I would say a quick process. It's not a quick process. Your worms are going to take 4 to 5 months to get big enough to where you can start producing beetles. So don't get frustrated and all that, because it's not going to happen overnight. Okay? But this is my beetle/worm farm, and it has been thriving for 8 months now, and I've noticed that the second batch of worms, for some reason, grew up a lot quicker than the first batch. Of course, you know, I was antsy and waiting and waiting and waiting, was so excited, you know, and it obviously took longer because I was excited and waiting constantly. But just be patient with it. Don't throw stuff out. The beetles, they do fly. I have never seen one flying, but every once in a blue moon, you will find one stray one out in your house. They do not always fly, as long as you keep good nutrition in there, good water source. Do not give them water. Very bad. That's what the carrots are for, moisture. So, yeah. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you don't mind, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. There will be tons more videos coming. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a great week. And if you would like to know anything, or you would like me to do a video on something, you know, specific, please leave a comment down below, and I will get to it, like, as soon as I can. May even be the next day. Who knows? All right, guys. This is Nicole. Thanks for subscribing to my channel, and have a great week.